It's an icon. It's been sought after for years. It's even been a benchmark and is now also available as an electric vehicle. And yeah, it can spin on the spot. The OG SUV is now electrified with the promise of tech-packed performance. Its official name is quite a mouthful: Mercedes-Benz G580 with EQ tech. Yeah, I think people are just going to call it the EQG, just like its concept was named. Kinda easier and more sensible too, no? But trust the Germans to overcomplicate in an attempt to apparently simplify.
How often do I get to talk about the design of a car sitting on its roof? Well, it's not often. The part that's a little disconcerting, the wind is stiff enough that the car is kind of moving under me. But I will tell you this, when it comes to design, this is iconic. It's immediately recognizable. The design, it's every bit the G-Wagen. The big difference though, unlike the global version, especially in the US or in Western Europe, we get a full-size wheel on the rear door.
The interior is all about luxury and emulates all the top cars from Benz, and is pretty much like that of the combustion engine Gs. Right from the grab handle for the passenger to the new latest MBUX OS on that touchscreen. The car has a 116 kilowatt-hour battery pack that gives you a claimed range of more than 470 kilometers, but real-world figures would obviously be different. And this one is not really about range, is it? 0 to 100 kilometers in under 5 seconds and over 1000 Nm of torque.
Now, the car does come with artificial sound like a lot of the electrics do. This one's really high-end, so it was important to throw that in. They call it the G Roar. Right now I'm in comfort. Yeah, there's a lot of wind noise, but when you do accelerate, you get this little throaty rumble, engine-like rumble, which is nice because you almost feel a vibration that accompanies it. What is even nicer, if you really want to hear it roar, put it into sport, and the acoustics get oh so much sweeter. Here we go. Oh yes, that is nice.
The price for all of this electric goodness? Mr. Ambani, senior or junior, please take note, 3 crore rupees. And while I'm sure they have their allocation sorted, the model is sold out in India till the third quarter of 2025. And we're talking triple-digit units here. I first drove the G580 in Los Angeles a few months ago, and I showed you that car. The Indian spec is not very much different. If anything, we get the Edition 1 variant, which basically is really fully loaded. At 3 crores, it had better be, right?
When it comes to the G-Wagen, it's been this really simplistic, functional design, but over the years, it's become desirable and iconic. People love it because of the way it looks. And of course, on the electric version, it had to be carried over. So if you look at it in a second, you know it's the G-Wagen, or in this case, the E-Wagen. But what I like is that that part hasn't been exaggerated. You get the same chunky look. You've even got a very nice rugged looking front grille, the big Mercedes logo, nice chunky bumpers, great approach departure angle, the round headlights which are unmistakable, and then of course this element, the indicator sitting on that fender. All of that straight away tells you that this is the G before it tells you that it's the EQ version. What is nice? The color. This particular one is very EQ. They call it the South Seas Blue Magno. Quite a mouthful. The other colors are boring. There's a black, there's a gray, and there's 2 formats on white.
So yeah, I'm just going to start calling it the E-Wagen. The Edition 1 has a decorative inlay on this side molding, a nice pattern with white lines, blue line at the bottom. Edition 1 also gives you blue brake calipers. Looks really nice with this blue paintwork especially. Inside though, the E-Wagen is again very similar to the G-Wagen. Same dashboard layout, same 12.3-inch screens with the new MBUX, and now you get EV-specific graphics, obviously, and some very nice blue inlay in the carbon fiber and matching blue stitching. Very EQ, very cool. The seats are nice and comfortable, and the active side bolstering is a nice touch. Makes you feel pretty secure when the car's turning. In fact, you can adjust how tight the seats should hug you. There are 10 levels to choose from. Good feature to have, especially when you drive it hard and fast. The numbers look good, but given the sheer size of that battery, you'd think it would take you much further, right? Well, the reason is the massive weight that this beast carries. And it's cause they haven't compromised on its output or performance. The E-Wagen is fast and responds really well on the highway. Sharp lane changes, smooth kickdowns, and very good cornering ability despite its shape and height. A lot of that is to do with what the company calls G steering, which enhances maneuverability. It has 4 electric motors, one at each wheel, which lets it send the right amount of torque to any wheel instantly.
As I told you in my previous review when I drove the car in the US, it doesn't have an eco mode. It doesn't need one. I mean, the whole idea of being electric is being eco in the first place. So what you get instead are, when you go to the dynamic menu, are comfort, sport, individual, trail, and rock. Rock, of course, is also where you can engage low range. And there is a fair amount that you can do rough roading, I'd call it, with the trail mode. Now, the car does come with artificial sound like a lot of the electrics do. This one's really high-end, so it was important to throw that in. They call it the G Roar. Right now I'm in comfort. Yeah, there's a lot of wind noise, but when you do accelerate, you get this little throaty rumble, engine-like rumble, which is nice because you almost feel a vibration that accompanies it. What is even nicer, if you really want to hear it roar, put it into sport, and the acoustics get oh so much sweeter. Here we go. Oh yes, that is nice. It reminds you of the G63 in a way. It makes you feel a little bit better about this fantastic commanding driving position. Otherwise, the car is doing most of the work and all you have to do is steer. It goes fast, it's smooth, it's reasonably good around the corners, handles pretty well, and the ride quality is also very nice. Given just what we've seen happening with the G, I think that evolution is evident on the EQ as well.
But wait, is it really that capable off-road? In the dry and on the trail, in the grass and on rock? Yes. In slush? Well...
So the car has different drive modes and there's lots you can do with the car on and off the road. But right now I'm telling you this at a time when all of this only matters when the car is actually moving. Currently, not quite the situation.
Don't worry, we got the car out. With some help, of course. What happened was a matter of chance and some bad luck. And by no means defines the capability of this car, which is very much built as a true blue off-roader.
Alright, so what you just saw me do was that famous G-turn, the big USP of this car. Very easy to activate. You need to be in rock mode. So firstly, there you go, rock. And for that, you have to also engage the low range, which I have already done. It's just a simple button press. And then you've got the G-turn right here. So put the car in drive, put on G-turn. It tells you, check surroundings. And then depending on which side you want to go, clockwise or anti-clockwise, you hold down that pedal. I'm going to go this way. And now we'll go the other way. There we go.
The G-turn is possible due to those electric motors. The ones in front and back work in opposite direction to each other, making the car spin on the spot. It can go up to 720 degrees. There's also an off-road crawl function. So, would you buy one? Well, if you're one of the 100 people who have already booked the E-Wagen, this question isn't for you. You folks don't really care how much it costs, do you? And for those who are waiting for yours, saving those 3 crore rupees seems like a no-brainer. You better get started. A G-Wagen that helps reduce your carbon footprint. Now that's a win-win situation, and you won't really get anything like this in the market either.
Everything car and everything bike. We got you. Here on Acco Drive, our expertise for your ease.